Hello, everyone. In this live, I'm going to be talking about the chamber, everything you need to know about this brand new broadcast channel membership that just opened. The doors just opened. We are officially starting this week. So I'm so excited to share with you everything that you're going to get inside the chamber, who it's for, why I created it. This is such a special membership and it's been a really long time coming. So I'm actually going to start there. Why I created it, how this came to be, and why I'm delivering content in this very specific, unique way. So most of you know that I have a high-level business mastermind called Magic Mind, okay? Magic Mind gets access to everything under the sun in my world, close proximity mentorship, high touch mentorship, meaning like you get lots of touch points with me, multiple calls every single month, a 24/7 Slack channel, in-person events. Like if you want to be mentored by me and you want support in your business and an incredible community of women, this is the place, right? So one of the things that I do on Slack, I have multiple different channels, okay? And one of the channels is called Tips Transmissions. So this is something that's been a part of Magic Mind for quite some time now. I think actually since the first or maybe second round, I have done a Tips Transmissions type of channel where I'm riffing, I'm sharing. Sometimes it's more strategic trainings and sometimes it's more like just this just dropped in, I'm like recording it impromptu, I have no notes, I'm just literally speaking and it's rolling off my tongue, right? That is sometimes how the best transmissions and downloads and riffs come through. Sometimes it is a very straightforward, step-by-step, actionable strategy that I literally want them to like pause, take notes, implement, go and run with it, go and take action. And then they would come back and be like, I made a sale, I signed a client, this launch went, like this was the goal for this launch and here were the results. Like there are very strategic trainings in there as well. Essentially was a broadcast channel for me to share whatever it is I wanted to share, whatever was coming through for me, whatever was coming through from my higher self, from my intuition that I felt like was supportive for my clients, okay? So I would drop in and I would do this very consistently. And I started getting such incredible feedback over multiple rounds. And it also was something that I love doing. I love being able to just hit record myself, go. It's why I started my podcast. It's why I love doing lives just like this one. It's why I love teaching through live masterclasses and doing Telegram channels. This is something that I enjoy, right? It's like my joy meets a really beautiful form of delivery. So the chamber is my brand new membership that incorporates this style of training inside one place. So when I was building this out, the words that came through the most were charging portal. And I kept thinking of these like chargers that you would use to plug into your phone, chargers that you would use for an electric vehicle, right? A charging station where you come in, you get plugged in. If you've ever seen those stations at the airport where you have to unlock it, right? Because you don't want someone stealing your phone, but you get to leave it there and let it charge. You can come back and pick it up, right? And it's at full battery, you're good to go. Or if you've seen those like fuel rods at the airport where you can literally like borrow and you can like exchange it and put it back in different machines. They're at Disneyland as well, where you can literally get this like little battery shaped charger and then you plug it into your phone, you take that with you and you can go, right? So if you think about a charger, something that charges something to full battery, something that allows you to be fueled up, right? Think putting gas in your car. This is literally the visual. These are the visuals. This is the metaphors that came in as I was thinking about the chamber, as I was building the chamber. And the reason reason why that came to be is because really the best way to explain a membership like this, the best way to explain how I've created it and what I've thought while I was creating it is, how can I create a base, like a home base and a charging space for people who are coming in. These are creative entrepreneurs. These are the intuitive, visionary leaders, conscious leaders, heart-centered leaders. These are the business artists, right? Like, this is something I talk about a lot in my brand, is we're not just here to build a business. When you're setting out to build a business, it's very like, let me go and get a business degree and then figure out what kind of business I want to create, right? Or let me read all the rules about business and let me get all the books on business and let me follow these rules based on what other people have done. And then let me find something, right? It doesn't always look like this, but this is kind of the narrative, is let me find something that I then go sell. The people that I work with, the people that I value working with and that I attract into my world, into my spaces, aren't here to just go and find something to sell, right? They have something that they cannot stop thinking about, that they know the world is going to be changed from. A lot of my clients have gone through multiple reinventions, right? So they've hit some type of rock bottom moment. They've gone through their own personal deaths and rebirths where they're reinventing into new and new, more and more iterations, layers and layers and layers of iterations of self. And through that process of alchemy, right? Because that's really what this is. You're shifting this story, this rock bottom moment, this moment that life brought you to your knees, and you're alchemizing that. You're shifting your own inner world. And now that you've transformed, you want to bring that into the world to support other people through your heart, right? Which is why the brand is heart artistry. And so that is the artistry of your heart, of your purpose. So the chamber, which by the way, the heart has 4 chambers, and that's something I'm going to be playing a lot with inside this membership, which is going to be really exciting to like get my hands into. So the chamber, the heart chamber, right? This is the space where you come, you get plugged in. It is here to fuel the human, right? Underneath the business and the movement and being a leader is the human who is running things in the back end, who is powering this business, right? So if you can come and get fueled, if you can come and get charged, if you can come and receive what you need to receive, opening yourself to receive, this is really the space where you come and do that, not just in the strategy, but also the energetics, and not just the energetics, but also in strategy. And what I mean by that is you're not just coming in to receive a whole bunch of strategies and trainings to go and take action on. You're also here to plug in energetically, identity-wise, your personal power, who you're being, right? Because the state in which you're in, reminding yourself who you are, receiving the trainings on energetics, the activations, the riffs, the behind the scenes of my business, these are all core elements and pieces that come in to support you building a massively successful business that is not thought about and built like a business, right? Typically in big corporations, in corporatism, in like a post-industrial state, we're all following very specific rules. There are things that have just always been done that way. But if you're looking at it as an artist, if you're looking at it as a creative, what do creatives and artists do? They do it their own way. They do what's never been done before. They're not here to follow the rules. They're here to create a whole new style on their own, a whole new era on their own, right? That's what artists have consistently done over time, not just painters, right? But people who design things have a vision and manifest it into reality, right? So that's what we're here to do. Is the chamber is a membership for the visionaries and the artists, the business artists, where you come, you have a vision, you plug into a space where you get fueled, you're reminded who you are, you get a kick in the pants. I want people to come into the chamber, receive what they need, and then bounce off to go and take massive action. Come in, get fueled, go and enact that strategy. Come in, get fueled, go and have an incredible launch in your business, right? Come in, get fueled, get like the social media strategy, how I sell on stories and close clients in the DMs. I'm someone who's mainly sold on Instagram stories, and then I close clients inside the DMs. I don't do sales calls. I don't have back and forth conversations. Like, the way that I nail it in my messaging allows my clients to know exactly who I'm speaking to, which is them, my best clients, and then they move, right? I work with people who move really quickly. I move with people who are like, yep, done, get me in, I'm in, just paid, done, right? Like those are the people that I speak to. Those are the people that I love working with, and that's how it works the best. And so when we're thinking about the chamber, which gets you access to live trainings that I'm dropping multiple times a week, I just posted 2 over the weekend. One of them here, I'll actually pull it up. One of them was on the evolutions of business, so kind of a behind the scenes of my rebrand, how it came to be, and then also discerning different types of, different types of ideas that come in for you. What are the ones that you need to move on now? And then what are the ones that want to marinate and soak in a little bit longer? So that was the first one, behind the scenes, building a beautiful relationship with the spirit of your business, which is one of the biggest things that we're going to be highlighting inside the chamber. Is everything's going to be taught through the lens of higher consciousness, right? So that means I am not creating another membership that's just telling you how to do more things and how to create like more and more and more strategies, more and more things to do from a place of being disempowered, from a place of hopefully this strategy will just do the work for me. That's not what I'm creating here. That's not what I want more of inside the business world. I want more of discernment, thinking about your thinking, editing your thinking, creating thought leadership. I don't want you to sound like every other fucking business owner out there, right? Like, I don't want leaders that just copy other leaders. That literally, like, it controverses the entire idea of a leader. A leader is someone who goes first. A leader is someone who disrupts the industry. A leader is someone who doesn't even give a fuck about the industry. You're above it, right? Like, those are the people I want to work with. You're not here. You obviously don't work a 9 to 5. You don't work a day job. You're not doing things the way everyone else is doing, right? You can't stand working in a cubicle. You can't stand waiting an entire year for a $1 raise. Like, you are not the average person. You're doing things completely differently. You're likely the only person in your ancestral lineage that has stopped and is rewiring all of the work and all of the everything that's happened from then until now, like 6, 7, 8 generations back. And then you're creating a completely different reality for the generations coming, right? So you are a cycle breaker. You're someone who's here to do things differently. You're creating something extraordinary and abnormal, right? This is something that is just not of this world, right? It's not of this world. It's not of this society. It's not of what other people expect. So when I'm dropping these trainings, most of them are going to be very activating, right? Very energetic, very like soul firing. And I'm blending it because the important thing, and this is what I've literally said till I'm blue in the face to all of my clients, is you can't just take action for the sake of taking action, right? This is how people crash and burn. This is how people literally drive themselves into the ground. Is, why is this not working? Let me try that. That's not working. Let me try that, right? It's like, if you're trying to make a soup and all you're doing is just throwing things in, it's eventually going to taste like shit. But if you actually keep it really simple with key ingredients that you want to put in that soup and you just let it sit and marinate, keep it simple, let it do its thing. The stove is on. You make sure that the stove is on high. It's gonna work, right? Because you're fueling it with what it actually needs to be fueled with, versus let me throw all this shit into the soup and it ends up tasting really weird because it's like you've just thrown, and then, okay, why doesn't it taste good? Okay, I'm gonna throw this other thing. Why doesn't it taste good? You're not actually giving it the space to sit and marinate. Soups need to marinate. Soups literally need to like soak in all of the juices and the nutrients. And so if we're not allowing that to happen, it doesn't actually get anywhere. Like, you can follow the strategies of the greatest leaders in the entire world and someone that you look up to, right? And it doesn't work for you because you're not powering it with those same energetics. So that's why I said, make sure the stove is on, right? Because you can also do all the things and let it simmer for like 3 days. But if the stove isn't on, if the heat isn't on high, if you're not actually powering it with what it needs to grow and to marinate and to taste good and actually be edible in this scenario, it's not actually going to work, right? So what I've created inside the chamber, what I've created inside this membership is a portal for you to plug into and be activated in an identity state. So you know who you are, you know what you've created, you know the vision, right? Most of the most successful entrepreneurs in the world, like some of them are more of like a reluctant entrepreneur where they're like, oh, okay, I guess I have to be, I have to run this company and I have to do these things. Like entrepreneurs, especially in the beginning, you're doing so many things. Like you're the graphic designer and the accountant and the marketer and the advertising team and the sales team and the CEO, and you're in charge of like all of these, like so many different things, right? And so the most successful entrepreneurs are the ones that are like, I have this idea, I have this vision, I can't stop thinking about it and I can't put it down. Like it's almost like you can't create a world, you cannot create a space where like you are not creating and building. Like Walt Disney would end up going back to the studio almost every single day. And he actually created Mickey Mouse on a train after one of his employees had essentially like, there was like a coup in his business, right? And he had taken some of his art. There was like, issues with like the contracts and the copywriting. And so he lost his artwork. And so after all that happened on the train, he creates this mouse, right? And this ended up being Mickey Mouse. And he was like in the studio every single day, creating and building and designing and editing. Like everything went through his lens. Steve Jobs was the same way. Like he wanted to approve every single photo that would be put out on the ads. And he wanted to keep things as simple as possible, right? So when you are stepping into greatness, like when you are creating a world of your own, when you are creating something that's never been done before, it doesn't work to just be told what to do. Because at that point, why can't you just follow in the footsteps of someone who's done it already? Why can't you just read a book or look at someone online and go, okay, they created this and then they built that. Okay. And then they did, okay. And now they're running ads. Let me do that. Okay. And then they hired these types of people. Let me go and hire those people. Like, I mean, if that worked, then we would all, in retrospect, be successful 7 and 8 figure entrepreneurs, but it doesn't. Why? Why doesn't that work, right? And this was the same revelation that I had when I built my business and worked myself like to the bone. I was burning out. I was experiencing dizziness and vertigo. I was working like 10-hour days every single day. I was constantly working and I was like, okay, I was making money, but at a certain point it was like, this is not how it's supposed to be. And there was a piece of it that wasn't working, right? It wasn't sustainable. It wasn't the way I wanted to show up, especially as a single mom. And so for me, it was like there needed to be something else. There had to be what I call the magic, right? This is the activation. This is the passion. It's like you cannot pay someone enough. Like you can't pay someone to create passion and excitement and joy. Like when there is the thing that you can't stop thinking about and you can't stop talking about and it just like it drives you wild, right? That's something like if you can imagine like two people having an affair, right? It's like there is nothing in the world, like if it's this like hot, steamy, like I can't get enough in the middle of the day. Like, I mean, this is like a crazy example, but it's like nothing will tear them apart. If you've seen like movies where people just fall in love and it's like that type of fire, it's like there is nothing that is going to stop them, right? Much to their detriment, right? But you see the example. It's like when you have something you can't stop thinking about that you're so activated in, which is why I always say I'm not working with people who just started a business. I'm working with the people who can't stop thinking about a vision that they have. This is visionary artistry work. That's why the entire new brand name is Heart Artistry. This is the artistry of your heart. It's from the inside out, from within out into the world. It's business through the lens of art, right? Because when you see business through the lens of art, it's not what are the profit margins and what is going to be the most profitable money making thing, right? We get to love money, but we also don't need to lead with money. And in fact, the more we lead with money, the more we repel money. This is like wealth energetics, which is also what I'm diving into inside the chamber. So when you're leading with money, you're only thinking about money, right? But when you're leading with, this is what I love, and this is what I'm fueled by, and this is what I'm here to create, and this is how I'm disrupting the world, and here's how I'm creating change, and here's how I'm getting people to listen, and here is how things are shifting for everybody. Like, this is what I see for everyone. I am shifting this because I can't stop thinking about it, because I know there's transformation, because I know this works, right? That is something that you have, that you hold on to, that's like, I can't imagine a world without this. Like when Steve Jobs came out to create the iPod was like the first product, right? It was like the way to listen to music was so clunky and disorganized. We had these CD cases that we had to bring into the car, and we had these Walkmans, and it was like, it was too complicated to listen to music. In fact, one of their first slogans for iPod was like, download or listen to 1,000 songs, or 1,000 songs inside your pocket. Right? It's like, that is something that's never been created before. It's a revolution, right? So when we're thinking, and that's something that's already automatically baked in when you see yourself as an artist, when you see yourself as a business artist, when you see yourself as a heart artist, that's already baked into you, because each one of us has a unique purpose, right? It might be similar, like a lot of the people, a lot of the women especially that I work with are here to expand consciousness. They're here to help transform other women and other humans through the work of energetics, mindset, working on themselves, radical self-love, self-acceptance, right? I work with therapists, I work with healers, I work with guides, I work with so many different people, coaches and mentors and service providers and people who have in-person services and virtual services and different types of businesses and organizations and teachers, right? So there are all of these different people, but they're doing it in a very unique way. You can run, I met an accounting team the other week where they're doing it through like a heart-centered place. They're roping in somatic nervous system work with money conversations, right? There's nothing that can stop you from creating what is meant to be in the world and bringing your purpose out to be experienced by the people who are meant to experience it, right? Which is why I'm not afraid to speak very loudly about what it is that I'm here to do and what I'm here to create, because I know that the right people will funnel themselves in, and the people who aren't right, who listen to what I have to say and they're like, no, that I trust them to listen to their intuition and their discernment and walk out the door. And it doesn't have to mean anything. I don't take it personally, right? It doesn't mean anything. In fact, I'm so excited and I get really happy when someone is either a yes or a no, because it means I'm really clear. I love working with visionaries and spiritual entrepreneurs. I believe that you get to create anything you want in the world, that you can make $1 million in a year, in a month, right? Like if someone is upset by that, and if that triggers somebody, well, the first thing that I recognize with that is reflecting a wound that they're experiencing in some way already. Like if I talk about money and it already feels triggering because I say that you get to make $1 million in a month, in a year, in a week, like that is something that's something that digs at our already there wounds around money, especially in a society that demonizes money and demonizes people who make money, right? So that's something I'm always really proud of, is like when people come to my world, they're like, this is not for me, I'm unfollowing, I'm subscribing. It it's fine. That means it's working, right? And this is a piece of our business, especially as we're creating and stepping into higher and higher forms of leadership and conscious leadership, is you get to be this version of you that is so convicted, that is so rooted, that is so unshakable, that is so unbreakable, that it doesn't matter what people say, and it doesn't matter what people think about you and your work, because you're speaking to a very specific person, right? You're speaking to the person who understands and resonates with what you're here to create. And in fact, you never have to convince them. Like, I have people who jump into my world and buy right away, even just days after following me or that same day of finding me, because I'm not having to convince them of anything. I don't do any sales calls. I don't go back and forth in the DMs. I will never convince you to buy anything from me. I speak to the people who already see the value in what I'm selling, and they're like, yep, I'm in, let's go. Like, someone just paid this morning. They're like, yep, hey, I'm in, just paid. Thank you. Thanks for the invoice. Like, done, right? And that was like almost $2,300, right? And so that is something that's it's so simple, right? Like, I'm offering something that someone wants to buy. They see the value in it. I didn't have to convince her. I barely said anything. She said, just send me the link. And I'm like, yeah, here's the link. And she's like, all right, just bought. And I'm like, cool. I'm so glad you're in, right? It gets to be that simple. Like, why do we overcomplicate sales so much? It's us. We're the ones who do it. We overcomplicate the messaging, and we overcomplicate the sales, and we think we need to add all this flowery language, and we need to post on all the things. I really only sell on my Instagram stories and lives, right? That's like the main way that I sell. And even lives, I'll do them like once every so often. I sell on my stories almost every single day, and I close clients in the DMs. It gets to be that simple, right? It does not have to be some complicated thing where we're diving into, well, I need to figure out this and funnels and ads and all of this. And so the reason I created the chamber is I wanted a space for the business artists and the visionaries and the conscious leaders, right, to come, also come in and support and build community and build connection with one another. But also, I want you to come, plug into a space where you are being fueled, right? Where your soul is being fueled, your heart is being fueled. Like, this is where you're coming in and you're creating conscious change. Like, I work with the leaders who want to create massive impacts in what it is that you are building, right? So you're coming in, you're getting fueled, you're plugging into the riffs and the activations, the behind the scenes reflections that I'm not sharing publicly, right? And then also the trainings, the strategies, the micro programs. I'm building out right now the first micro program that you get access to inside the chamber. And it's on messaging, like dialing in on your messaging to create a level of articulation and simplicity through your artistry, through the work that you do, so that when people read your content, they see your messaging, they want to jump in, they don't have any questions, they don't need to go back and forth with you, they don't need to jump on a sales call. Like, this is what I have created in my business over the past 5 years and over $1 million in sales, right? Like, it's very simple. I don't have to convince anyone of anything. My people jump in. My people know what they want. My people are ready for this work because I'm speaking to the people who it's already a match. I'm not convincing people to get up here. If you're not there, you're not there. I'm speaking to the people who are already there, right? That's why it doesn't take anything for me to sell. Join the chamber, right? Like, the chamber's $25.55. That's an easy decision and a no-brainer for the person I'm speaking to, right? They're like, absolutely, I'm paying right now. Like, someone just paid this morning. Someone paid over the weekend. Someone paid on Friday. It's like that. Those things are here to happen over and over and over and over and over again, all the way up to $15,000, $20,000, right? Because people see the value in your work. But you also have to see that and believe in that and have the confidence and have the conviction. If you don't have those things and you're selling, nobody's going to want to buy, because no one actually believes you when you say, this is the best course and I love this coaching, I'm so proud of what I've created. If you're not actually feeling that, something's going to be a little off. Something's going to smell a little bit, right? They're going to be like, ooh, I don't know if that's true. I don't know if I believe her, I don't know if that's, I don't know. There's something off about that, right? But when you believe in what it is you're creating, you're in the energetics of it, you work on your identity, you work on your belief, you build a strong level of conviction in your offer, in what you're creating and how you're selling and talking about it. And you have refined and dialed in your messaging skills. You've worked on your sales skills. You don't just expect that it's going to be there, right? You're actually fine-tuned. I worked for years on my sales skills. I worked for years on my messaging, even after being an author of 2 books, right? And like, this is work and skills that we're building actively all the time, okay? So this is really important. The chamber is open right now. You can DM me chamber, and I'm more than happy to send you the links. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. The chamber is now open. It is my space to plug in. This is where you get the support. This is where you get the trainings. It's essentially like having me, my thoughts, my brain inside your back pocket. You can listen anywhere, anytime, trainings upon trainings, micro programs on power, identity, sales. Like, if you are here to build, you want to build $1 million business, you want to build multi 6 figures in your business, you want to have $50,000 months, you want to have launches that blow your mind because you're so connected to your work and you love what you do, this is the place to do it. All right, so DM me, chamber, link is also in the link in my bio. You can read through the sales page, feel into it. You can either pay in full, $25.55, or there is a 4-month payment plan. All right, I hope to see you inside. Love you all, and thank you for tuning in.